Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into a topic that's impacted countless lives, including my own. If you've ever wondered, do narcissists truly love their children? This video is for you. Not only will we uncover the 7 reasons why I can prove to you that narcissists don't love their children, but also explain to you how it impacts the nervous system and the brain, especially for young teens and young adults. It will help you understand either yourself or your child better, or it will help you understand why you did what you did during your teenage years. My name is Dr. Kaur, and stick around because at the end, I'll share with you a game-changing first step to start healing and breaking this cycle. Trust me, this is what I wish I knew years ago. Reason number 1, narcissist parents often appear very affectionate in public. This is so confusing because behind doors, their behavior can be cold and disconnected. It's basically on their terms. Why do they do this? Why is really important, because otherwise we can start to believe that it's me. It's because I'm not good enough, or my child might feel like they're not good enough. Their goal is to maintain their image, not nurture their child. How this impacts children is that the inconsistency, seeing them be so different, so charming, and then maybe just neglecting you when you're at home, where they don't even spend time with you or don't even communicate with you. This inconsistency is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde dynamic, leaving children to really question themselves, their own reality, and they mistrust their own instincts. They actually stop listening to their own instinct. This is where the nervous system gets stuck, because the nervous system is continuously sending them messages, telling them they feel unsafe or they feel down or depressed, but they get stuck in this survival mode, wanting to go into fight or flight, where they're angry and frustrated, or they go into shutdown mode where they're just down and depressed and just quiet. It's a constant battle that they'll never really truly work through because they just can't get into grips with why is it that they're so different in different places. Reason number 2, this often idolize their children at certain stages of their development, maybe during toddler phase. Why? Toddlers are dependent. They can be silent and compliant, and you can use fear and force to make them the perfect supply. But when children start to hit that teenage year where they can't control their emotions and they want to learn how to be their own independent self, narcissistic parents can withdraw attention, lash out, stop talking, or just completely cut them off when they get to a certain age, making the teens feel like they're too much or they're unworthy of love. This belief system rewires their nervous system when they're developing an important time for them. And so they associate independence as rejection. We can show up in later life in terms of lots of different ways, where every time you want to be yourself or try even to know yourself, who am I, what am I here for, what do I enjoy, what do I like, it can be really difficult to actually even get to that point of actually knowing and being okay with being around people where you don't have to try and get validation from them all the time. Reason number 3, they are more interested in control over individuality. As children grow older, narcissistic parents' love becomes even more conditional. It's less about the child growing up and becoming themselves. This really does impact the teen's ability to make independent decisions. They feel like everything they do is wrong, especially at a time where the teen becomes more interested in what their friends are doing and wanting to be part of that circle. The narcissistic parent interferes in that ability for them to actually connect with other teens, leaving them feeling powerless and not learning fully how to make friends. They feel uncomfortable even later on in years on how to make friendships, how to truly feel at ease in having friendships. Because narcissistic parents can actually make you feel guilty about having friends and being out with friends. Because as far as they're concerned, you are supposed to be supply for them and be around them and give to them and do what they want at all times and override any of their own needs to fulfill the narcissistic needs. So what happens to the teen's nervous system is it learns to suppress self-expression, leading to a chronic amount of self-doubt where they just lose their ability to feel confident within their own self. It actually leads to where the child starts to be in two specific states all the time, either fight or flight or shutdown mode, rather than that confident, calm, feeling free and resilient to be themselves and to explore. Reason number 4 is it's conditional love, and it's always performance pressure. Narcissists only love conditionally. They celebrate the child's achievements only if it reflects well on them. They will define what the child should do, where they should go, what their hobbies should be. And the teens often internalize this, believing that what they truly are good at, what their worth is actually tied to performance. They believe they're only worthy if they achieve, and that if they don't achieve, they're not worthy. Over time, this leads to anxiety, burnout, emotional dysregulation. They don't have a balance. They don't have an awareness of their own body and their own physical needs. And they're constantly trying to strive for an unattainable perfection. They become perfectionists as well because they're trying to please that parent. Perfectionism is basically doubt, fear that I'm not going to be good enough if I don't do this perfect, which is very different from actually striving to be the best version of yourself, where you feel you can explore, expand, grow, create without any hindrance. Reason why narcissists don't love their children, number 5, is children, as far as they're concerned, are like pawns. A narcissistic parent will often use their children as leverage to win arguments, to get money, to punish the co-parent, or to gain sympathy from others, or to make out that they are the best parent out there. Imagine being a teen forced into the role of a therapist or mediator between parents, having to mediate between siblings. It's just unfair. It's devastating for a developing nervous system and for the brain, which craves that feeling of feeling safe and stable. Instead of being provided a safe and stable environment, they're having to learn how to create one for others. So there's an element of parentification there. When you're dealing with a narcissistic parent, the child always feels like there's something wrong with them, and also that they have to fix things. Reason number 6. To the outside world, the narcissist makes this perfect family image, especially of themselves. I mean, it's incredible how they just switch roles as soon as someone from the outside world comes into their house. This often means that they pressurize their children to achieve, to conform, even at the cost of their mental health. They have no real awareness of the impact or care of the child's mental health. And if they do realize that there is an issue with the mental health, they will blame other people than actually realize that actually the main cause for the child's mental health issues is the narcissist. Teens trapped in this dynamic may lose sight of their true self as they're conditioned to prioritize appearances over authenticity. They stop learning how to be themselves, but actually having to put on an act. Reason number 7 is that narcissistic parents always play favorites. They create a golden child and then they have the scapegoats. They always have that dynamic, always going on. And they might switch, but overall, that is a dynamic that not only drives a wedge through the sibling relationship, but also reinforces cycles of comparison and competition, which actually creates more fear in the children. Understanding these dynamics, that they're rooted in parents' need for control and not anything to do with the child's flaws at all, it's nothing to do with the child, can be the first step in healing. So what does this all mean? The truth is, if you've grown up in this type of environment, or your child has, your nervous system has been impacted. You're used to being in fight or flight or shutdown mode. It's not your fault, but it's something you can heal. The good news is you can break this cycle. If you have a child that you're concerned about, I have a new program called Unshakable. It's a guide for teens and young adults to understand these patterns, to rebuild trust and belief in themselves, and really learn how to regulate their nervous system, but also regulate their emotional well-being so that they can build confidence and emotional freedom. You can have a look into the resources section. So one actionable tip today: Start small. I want you to try and identify one situation where you ignored your instincts because of fear or doubt or anxiety. Write it down and choose to reflect on how you would do it differently next time. And if you find that you can't do it differently next time, it might be that we need to go deeper and actually release the trauma that's there. So find out more about my program. I do have one-to-ones. Healing begins when you start to reclaim your own power for your own state within yourself. Now, the one thing that really helps us is being kind, compassionate, and loving towards ourselves when we're being in these situations. If you're a parent, I want you to know you're doing the best that you can and sending you so much love. You're incredible as a parent to be able to deal with your own trauma from the toxic individual. You're dealing with trying to help your child, as well as dealing with someone that is creating difficulties. That's a lot. That's much more than what the average parent does. So give yourself a lot of love, compassion, and understanding. You're doing the best that you can. See you next time, but sending you so much love. Till next time.